That was Dodgers second baseman Dee Gordon, of course, his very first time in an All-Star uniform, and he's the older brother of the Twins' first-round draft pick, Nick Gordon. I also asked Suzuki, besides the monetary factor of the deal, what made him want to come back to Minnesota and stay with the Twins, and he said that he saw such potential in spring training with those young arms that Roy just mentioned, that he is excited about being a part of the future and hopefully a Twins turnaround sooner rather than later. Well, the Twins have been scoring plenty of runs, 15 combined over their last 2 games in Tampa to help them take their first series at Tropicana Field since 2006. But the Twins really running wild these days, back on top of the majors, averaging over 5.5 runs per game, despite their team batting average, which actually ranks 13th. Adam Wainwright of the Cardinals will start for the National League, and Felix Hernandez of the Seattle Mariners will start for the American League. And as we take a look at their numbers and what those two guys have been able to do, I want to focus a little bit on the decision for the National League starter. Really Adam Wainwright, what do you make of Mike Matheny choosing kind of his guy? We'll get to why. We've got a couple catcher's gloves here in just a minute, but first we want to give you a preview of what to expect here in just a few minutes on Twins Live, starting with Phil Hughes. He's going to try to get his 10th win of the season already for the Twins, and he's coming off a very strong outing against Seattle. 7 1/3 shutout innings. What has been the difference lately after he kind of had a couple of rough starts earlier this month? Congrats to Kevin Correa on that first win of the season, but you heard him mention right away, he talked to Ricky Nolasco after last night's complete game effort by him to figure out what was working for him. How much do guys do that? How much do they help each other in the clubhouse? A big opportunity, but a tough test at that, because he'll go from facing AAA pitchers to now facing a former Cy Young Award winner in Justin Verlander. Chris Colabello has quickly become one of the best stories in all of baseball this season, and if it seems like he's come out of nowhere, well, he kind of has. He's 30 years old, and it has been a long and winding road for him to get to the majors. It is chilly here at Target Field, but it doesn't seem to be bothering the Dodgers of Los Angeles, of all places. They are now 10-3 on the road, and they're winning thanks in large part to batters 1 through 9 contributing in this series. Well, we'll see if he does get his feet wet at all tonight, but Dick Bramer, Bert Blyleven, I know, Bert, you're a fan of complete games, so I guess in the perfect situation, Logan Darnell wouldn't see any action tonight, right?
Well, we hope not.
A little bit of rain, but we hope to have baseball here tonight, which is great because the Twins have not been able to play baseball since Saturday afternoon. Sunday's game rained out. Monday, a scheduled off day. Tuesday's game rained out. Roy, what's it like as a player to have to deal with this kind of schedule? Phil Hughes will try to get his 10th win of the season. He might also try to get his first big league hit. Of course, he doesn't have too much experience in National League ballparks, but he'll get his chance in the batter's box today, so that's something else to watch for. Speaking of hitting, Kendrys Morales has been on a tear lately. After he started off with the Twins very hot, he kind of cooled down a little bit, but what have you noticed about this past week or so for him? And now that Brian Dozier has been in the big leagues a few years, he says he feels a little more comfortable out there at second base when one of those guys gets on base, someone like a Dustin Pedroia or a Robinson Cano this week, and he feels more comfortable trying to pick their brains a little bit and find out what works for them at second and also at the plate. Besides trying to keep the Giants' bats quiet tonight, Kyle Gibson is also hoping to make some noise with his own bat. Actually, he'd just like to get on base if possible. Kyle Gibson hasn't swung a bat in a game situation since 2006 when he was a senior in high school, and I asked him earlier this week how he's feeling about stepping back into the batter's box tonight. You heard Andy mentioning the specific change in his delivery, and Bert talked about it too, just trying to keep his shoulders level and not arch way back because he wasn't getting that downward plane that Rick Anderson and Kevin Correa were both looking for. Instead, he kept getting up in the zone, and that's where Andy said he's really been pounded all year. So if he can just stand tall, do his thing on the mound, Rick Anderson says he should get back to the Kevin Correa that we saw last year. We'll see if that very good bullpen session earlier today translates here tonight, guys. And you're not only doing a great job at the plate, but behind the plate as well. And pretty much every single pitcher has said that they trust you to call a good game, and they don't feel worried at all about throwing their best stuff and having it get past you. So how much pride do you take in your catching, maybe even more than your hitting? Right outside AT&T Park are statues of 2 Giants legends, Willie Mays and Juan Marichal. And each guy actually played a very key part in the 1965 National League win of the All-Star Game at the old Met Stadium in Minnesota. Let's start with Willie Mays. Gene Mauch was managing the National League team that year, and he decided to bat Willie in the leadoff spot instead of his customary 3 spot. That surprised Willie, but Gene Mauch told him it's possible possible our leadoff guy could get 6 at-bats, and if anybody on this talented team is going to get 6 at-bats, I want it to be Willie Mays. Sure enough, Willie stepped up to the plate right away, a leadoff home run for the National League. The other Giants hero of that game, Juan Marichal, was the starting pitcher for the National League, and he pitched 3 shutout innings to earn MVP honors as the National League went on to beat the American League 6-5. Tonight, the challenge for the Twins pitching staff will be to try to limit a surging Cleveland offense, and one man in particular, Michael Brantley. The Cleveland center fielder is coming off his first ever All-Star appearance and has really done it all for his team this year with the best batting average, the most RBI, and the most home runs on the squad. All he's done since the break is hit .444 with 3 doubles, one of which came last night here at Target Field, and this field has quickly become a special place for him to play. Welcome back to Monument Park in center field here at Yankee Stadium, where they honor legendary Yankees, and there's really no question Derek Jeter will have a plaque all his own as soon as he retires at the end of this season. Jeter has also had a tremendous influence on the baseball career of Brian Dozier, who tells me Jeter was his favorite player growing up, and everything from the sweatband he wears on his left arm to the way that he jumps up and throws on a ground ball is because of Derek Jeter.